Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about phrasal verbs and some expressions that use the verb move. Let's get started. Let's start on this side of the board with this group. The first phrasal verb I want to talk about is move in. Move in. To move in means to go to a new residence. So we use move in to talk about the new place you are going to live. You might also hear this phrasal verb used for a new office, and this is used in cases where you don't change jobs, but the location of your office changes. For example, I moved in to my new apartment last week. Or, when are you moving in? So you'll notice when you use this phrasal verb, we follow move in with to, and then the new location. The new location goes here. I'll talk about the opposite in just a moment. You could use to my new office here as well. So we moved into our new office last week is another way you might hear this used for workplace changes. So to move in means to go to a new residence or a new workplace. The opposite of move in is move out, to move out. To move out means to leave a residence and go to a new one. So this is like commonly used with move in, but we use move out when we're talking about the old place we lived. For example, I have to move out of my place next month. So this of my place, this place means the place where I live. This is a casual expression that means the place where I live. I have to move out of my place now next month. So notice here when we use move out, the old location, the old residence is the focus. When you use move in, you'll use the preposition to move in to and your new location. With move out, it's move out of and the old location. So please keep in mind these small preposition points. Move into, move out of. Another example, I think the neighbors moved out. I think the neighbors moved out. So in this case, you don't need to include any other information. We understand from context the neighbors in this case left their residence. So some neighbors, some person or people near our place moved out of that residence. So you could say, I think the neighbors moved out of their apartment, but because we're using this phrasal verb, we already understand it means they left their residence. So this is move in and move out. Okay, let's continue to move on to something and move off something. So move on to something and move off something can both be used to mean to change topics. So I could have said now, after my explanation of move out, I could have said, okay, let's move on to the next item. So move on has a couple of different meanings, as I'll talk about in just a moment. But this one is to change topics, to change topics. So we use move on to something when we want to talk about going to a new topic. We use move off, again, when we want to talk about the old topic, the old topic. So some examples. Let's move on to the next topic on today's agenda. Let's move on to the next topic on today's agenda. So that means I want to go to the next thing. So I don't want to focus on the last thing, I want to focus on the next thing. Let's move on to the next topic. Let's move on to is the preposition we use, followed by the noun phrase, the next topic on today's agenda. Another example, I want to move off of this topic for a minute. I want to move off of this topic for a minute. That means this topic, the current topic of discussion, is something the speaker wants to stop talking about. The speaker wants to go to a different topic. So they say, I want to move off, and the preposition is of. I want to move off of. So again, as with move out, when we're talking about leaving something behind, we use of. So move off of this topic to go to another one. So you'll probably hear these uses in discussions, perhaps in presentations and meetings. So it's less about like two-way conversations, but often when many people are discussing a topic, we'll use move on and move off. So presentations, conferences, discussions, and so on. Okay, so with that in mind, let's move on to this next one, also move on. So I've kind of hinted at it here. We use move on to mean to continue to the next thing in a series. So this is slightly different from this one. It means like to change topics generally, like to move on to another topic means to change topics. We can also use move on to mean to continue to the next item. So in this case, I have many different phrasal verbs. I want to move on to the next one, which means I want to continue to the next item. So for example, please move on to the next slide. Please move on to the next slide. So a slide means one image or one part of a presentation. So like a PowerPoint slide, for example, is one piece of information in a presentation. The second one here, though, is quite different from the one I introduced here. To move on is also used to mean to overcome an emotional challenge. We usually use this word when we have a breakup, so a romantic relationship ends, so a marriage ends, or you stop dating someone. So it's often related to romance or very close relationships like that. You might also hear it used when someone passes away, someone dies. So there's some kind of emotional challenge someone needs to deal with. The process of overcoming that and continuing on, like continuing forward to the next step in life, we use the word move on to describe that. For example, it's hard to move on after a breakup. It's hard to move on after a breakup. So that means it's hard to overcome emotional challenges after a breakup. But move on is much easier to say. So we have this use of move on as well. All right, let's continue to the next one. The next one is move over, move over. In most cases, you will probably hear move over used as a command. It means to shift to a side, so to move over, move over. It usually refers to a side shift, so to one side or to another side. For example, move over. I have no place to sit. So that means please shift yourself, please shift your body to a side. I want to sit. I need a place to sit. So this is used as a command. Move over, move over. Another one, can you ask her to move over? So that means can you ask her to shift to the side? We usually use move over when we want someone to make space for us. We need a place to sit or maybe to put something down. So we use it as a command to ask someone to move. Okay, next is move in on, move in on. Move in on means to approach something usually to attack that thing or that person or to control that person. So it has kind of a negative nuance and it's often used in dangerous situations or maybe in risky situations. For example, the police moved in on the suspect. The police moved in on the suspect. So in this situation, there's likely one suspect and many police officers. So the image here is that the police, as a group, slowly perhaps approached the suspect to attack or to try to control the suspect. So that means it's kind of like a risky situation. So there's usually some kind of like cautious behavior we need to think about. So to move in on someone, to move in on something is also possible. We tend to use it in news reports or military reports more often though. Another example, we're planning to move in on the enemy tomorrow. We're planning to move in on the enemy tomorrow. So this might be like a military expression. So again, there's an enemy, or it could be a group of people who are the enemies in this case. Again, it has the feeling of surrounding or approaching carefully before attacking or before trying to control something. So this is to move in on someone or to move in on something. Okay, on to the next one. The next one is make a move, to make a move. To make a move means to take action often or typically in a romantic situation. You're going to make a move. You might sometimes hear this used in career situations when something is a little bit risky. You decide to take action. You might say, I'm going to make a move and apply for this promotion or something like that. But in most cases, we use it for dating situations and other romantic situations. For example, did you make a move on your date last night? Did you make a move on your date last night? That means, did you take action? So this phrase is quite vague. It's not clear, like, what action was taken. We don't specifically know. So this could be different from person to person. It usually refers, though, to showing someone your true feelings. Like you try to get closer to someone in some way. So to make a move usually means like to be the first person to try to make a relationship very close. So to make a move is kind of a special thing. It's kind of an exciting, risky thing too. Another example, the person I'm seeing made a move last night. So this is past tense. The person I'm seeing made a move last night. So that refers to the person on a date with the speaker trying to take action. That person wanted to become closer to the speaker, so they did something, maybe tried to hold hands or kiss or hug or something else. So it refers to some sort of vague action. We don't know exactly what, but the person the speaker is seeing wanted to get closer to the speaker. So we can use make a move to describe this and other situations too, where you try to make a move to like a higher position in your company or perhaps just some other kind of closer or higher level relationship. You want to try to take action to do that. You can use make a move to describe it. Okay, the next one is move to or move toward, move toward. So this means to go in the direction of something or like to go to a specific place from another place. So some examples. Let's move toward that building. Let's move toward that building. So if you're in a group of people, you're trying to go someplace, you can say, let's move toward that building. So it doesn't mean we're going to go to the building. It means the direction I want to go in is near there. So let's go in that direction. You might not go to the building, but let's go toward that building. Let's go toward that building. Here, he's going to move to the restaurant. So let's meet him there. If you use move to, it has the feeling of going from one location to another location. So for example, maybe there's a man we're going to meet. Now he's at a cafe, but he's going to move to the restaurant. So let's meet him at the restaurant. He's here now, he's going to move to the restaurant, so let's go there. It sounds like someone is changing locations. So move to has this feeling. If you say he's going to go to the restaurant, it doesn't have that feeling of someone changing locations. So sometimes you might want to kind of explain that. You explain that someone perhaps is moving or is changing locations, maybe just for the purpose of meeting you. So sometimes it's nice to express that clearly. You can do that with move to. So keep in mind also, move to means going to actually at the specific location. Move toward simply means moving in the direction of something. It doesn't necessarily mean that thing is the destination. It just means that's the direction you want to go in. Okay, next is get a move on. To get a move on is a set expression. We usually use it in this present tense. We don't really use it in past tense. We don't really say gotta move on. We sometimes use it in future tense though. This means to begin going somewhere. So you typically use this just before you leave a location. For example, it's late. We should get a move on. It's late, we should get a move on. At someone's home for a party, it's late. We should get a move on. We should begin to leave. We should begin to go somewhere else. Another example, hurry up, I gotta get a move on. So I gotta means I have got to, I have a responsibility to. Hurry up, I gotta get a move on. That means hurry up, I need to begin to leave, so I have to go somewhere else. So get a move on is a set expression, which means to begin leaving or to start leaving. Okay, next is to be on the move. To be on the move means to be in the process of moving. You can use this to describe animals, to describe people, to describe pretty much anything that moves on its own. So, for example, look, the elephants are on the move. So it sounds like they're in the process of moving somewhere. Maybe we don't know where, but right now this group of creatures is in the process of moving. They're on the move. Another example, according to police, the suspect is on the move. So that means the suspect is currently now moving. So we don't know where, but we just know that there is movement. So this expression shows someone or something is in the process of moving, but maybe we don't know the destination, we don't know the exact place, we just know they are moving. We use on the move to describe that. So they are on the move, or the suspect is on the move. Okay, the next two are kind of a pair. They are move up and move down. So to move up means to shift something up in this motion. It can also mean to go to a higher position at work. So like to move up in your career or to move up as in your company. For example, please move up to the next place in line. So if you're waiting in line, to move up in line means to go to the next position, to move forward, to go forward in a line, to move up. In this example, I'm excited to move up in my company. So again, it's like going forward. It's going to the next step in something, to move up. So generally, this sounds like a very positive thing, to move up in a company. One more, move down then is the opposite. We don't really use it so much to talk about moving down in a company because it's not as common, I think, as moving up. We use this to mean to shift something down or to go down as well. For example, can you move the light down a little bit? Can you move the light down a little bit? Just means move it from a higher location to a lower location. So to move something physically down. Or she moved down the street in her car. So if you imagine a street, a person in a car going down the street just means like this motion. So we can use to move down the street as well if you want to. In this case, like she went down the street in her car is also totally fine. You just might hear some people use move in this case too. So these are some phrasal verbs and some expressions that feature the verb move. Of course, there are some other expressions. If you know about them, please feel free to leave them in the comments of this video. If you have any questions or comments, or if you want to practice making some example sentences with these expressions, please feel free to do so in the comment section as well. If you like this lesson, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.